So I've been interacting on quite a lot of forums and teacher conversations on social media recently, and for the start of term, something which is quite common and keeps coming up in conversations are teaching professionals and staff and carers supporting people with sensory processing difficulties asking what tools, what strategies they can use to best support that person, child, young person, adult in the classroom, in that educational environment. So there was one the other day where someone described characteristics for this young man was they are hypersensitive to sound, so hummed loudly, rocked in a chair, and seeked out extra input through auditory sense. When this was explored a little bit further, I realised that actually these characteristics can also be related to our proprioceptive sense. So when we hum loudly, we've got those vibrations, and for some people who look out, who seek extra proprioceptive input, that deep hum can actually be a big awareness of where their body is and what they're doing. The rocking was presumed they were doing it to try and block out those sounds that are happening around them, which for some people may be the reason, but for this young man it could be that actually the rocking is that extra body input that they're requiring, that they need at that moment in time. So I suggested for them to try things which is going to help them to be aware of their body. So wearing something like that waist compression, or wearing lycra clothing, or having something weighted may well give them that body awareness while they're seated in the chair. And yesterday I heard back that this young man was given a weighted jacket, a weighted vest, and he was able then to learn, and he did his work and he gave it back to the TA at the end of the day and just said thank you. Now that's a massive thing. It's so important that we interpret these sensory characteristics in a personalised way. Yes, it's great that we're starting to recognise if someone's hypersensitive to sound, if someone's hypersensitive to visual, or hyposensitive to auditory and visual. But it's also really important that we become that detective and that we break down, actually, what else could we interpret by those characteristics? Are there other sensory systems that could be related to why they're doing it? On my workshops, I go through all of this and I help us to really understand how the senses function, so that then when you do recognise a sensory characteristic for someone with sensory processing disorder, it will then help you to recognise, well, it could be auditory, but it also could be proprioceptive. And so for that person, the proprioceptive characteristics were the ones which were repeated the most. We recognise most characteristics from that young person where they are seeking out that extra body awareness. When we then support someone, you will recognise, you will notice a quicker impact in them being supported, because we're understanding, we're interpreting that sensory need accurately. If you want to know more about how you can do this, you can have a look on my website at my workshops, drop me an email, ask me any questions, or ask me to do a video. I'm more than happy to do videos about it, but there is loads of free videos already on our YouTube channel, so why not subscribe there, and you can already see what topics we've helped you to understand and explain relating to characteristics for people with sensory processing disorder.